Hey guys, welcome back. I am Hunter SC. This is episode 2 of our Dark Souls walkthrough, and as we get started here on Huntsman's Copse, I have a little bit of explaining to do. As you can see, we don't have any souls. In the last video, we did have about 4,000, so I took those souls and... Hold on one sec. I'm sorry, there was a bug on the screen. Can't be having that. We took those souls and went to the Cardinal Tower bonfire, and I spent them at Melentia because after spending a certain amount of souls, she will move to Majula, and I really wanted her to, but she just refused to move. It's unfortunate, and I cut that piece out of the video just because it ended up being a waste of time. She didn't go back to Majula, and thus we can't get the Silver Serpent Ring from her. So, yeah, because we didn't accomplish much there, I just cut that out. But then, I actually started doing Huntsman's Copse, and as you can see, my bloodstain is right here. I died in, like, the first minute, and, well, I didn't see much purpose in including that piece either, so, yeah, we just started the video again. Cool. We're going to be going through Huntsman's Copse, of course. That much is obvious here. It's going to be one of the harder zones for us, I think, just because we're under geared using the basic short sword that came with this character. But I do like that the short sword's one-handed R2 is a nice straight thrust, unlike, you know, a wide arcing cleave that the long swords have. You can use it in like a narrow hallway, so that actually helped us out right here. This enemy we just killed is actually really annoying too. He's got a club, and he's just fully designed to catch you off guard and smack you. And with a club, it'll really knock you back and push you off the edge. Basically, everyone who comes there for a first time will experience that. Alright. So we've got a shortcut here, and what is now a very close by bonfire to the first one we lit. Oh, I also did one other thing. I did go back to Majula and upgraded the Estus Flask in both ways. One Sublime Bone Dust, one Estus Flask Shard. You know, both of those we grabbed in the last video. So we've got 3 flasks at +1. Alright, some really easy enemies coming up here. This guy almost always drops a torch. And I guess I'll point out that there's actually a platform you can drop down to. Oh, is this guy clinging on to the edge? He certainly is. Anyways, yeah, there's a platform you can actually drop down to that you can see from here, just from the bonfire we previously lit. And there's some, there's a chest, I think, some loot down there. I mean, there's definitely going to be something to pick up. But again, if I don't think it's worth getting, we'll probably avoid it. And if I can't recall what a piece of loot is in a certain secret area, then it's probably nothing exciting because it's not memorable. But anyways, this is a tricky part. It's a really wide open area. There's a lot of enemies. And we first get introduced to these sickle-wielding ogre-type guys. Pretty decent damage with the backstab. Alright, so usually in this area I just run by most of the things. Oh, we actually aggroed another sickle ogre. That's not good. So we do want to be quick here. So if you take your time killing off these guys, then, well, it'll get overwhelming pretty quickly. Oh man, these guys are actually quite evasive. And a lot of them are power stancing their weapons, so they can deal damage pretty quickly if you have low defense like me. Alright, let's bring down this bridge. Oh man, I'm taking fire from all angles here. So I'm not going to stop to actually fight these guys, because that would just make it far more likely that I die. So instead, we'll just head on over to Creighton's resting spot. So Creighton, or Creighton, is sitting in the cell there. Not sure if it's actually worth freeing him, just because it takes quite a bit of backtracking. So I don't know about that. But anyway, this is actually a big part of the reason why I've even brought you guys to Huntsman's Copse here at the beginning of our walkthrough to pick up the magic mace. Of course, you can't infuse a weapon until you've freed... Sorry, not freed, but you've brought the dull ember to Blacksmith McDuff. So being able to find a magic weapon like we just did is going to help out a lot. I mean, our sword only does 110 damage. And... oh, do we have the right stats? We're just a little short on strength, which just means we'll have to two-hand it. But, yeah, the difference between 110 and 110 physical and 100 physical plus 100 magic is almost double damage as we move on up to this magic mace, even unupgraded. So all of a sudden we are much more powerful, but that's not going to help our survivability at all. And because of that, we are going to want to be very careful for the rest of this zone. And yeah, I just find it much safer to actually run by these guys instead of taking them on. Not the most popular style, but for Huntsman's Copse specifically, it's pretty necessary, I think. So you can actually make this jump, but it's not easy. On New Game Plus, 2 ogres, Black Phantom, or Dark Spirit rather, ogres spawn right in the narrow section that we just passed. It's much harder on New Game Plus. That part specifically, I guess. Okay, so we've been invaded by a named Phantom. Okay, so let's get a backstab off. Not too much damage. It's not a very good angle. We're kind of getting lost in the fog door. Okay, there's a very slow animation on that rusted coin I just consumed. That's going to make it a bit more likely that she drops something. But unfortunately, Merciless Roenna didn't have a Warlock mask for us. Which is too bad, because that mask is, you know, arguably the best helmet in the game because it has the highest elemental defense out of every helmet. Okay, Skeleton Lords. So let's see how we do here. I'm pretty sure that I'll be consuming a fair number of life gems in this fight. This is not a very good place to engage these guys. There's a big boss chamber and like quite a number of pillars. So you can use that to, you know, cut off the angles on those fireballs or whatever. So there's 3 different types of skeleton lords here. They each have their own kind of weaponry or abilities, but honestly this boss I don't think is really that exciting. You do want to be careful though, it can get chaotic in here if you just kill all 3 of them off very quickly. Just because for each skeleton lord that you kill, it spawns a group of skeletons. And, well, if you kill all 3 of them at once, it'll spawn all 3 groups of skeletons, and, well, that's a pretty hard fight. Not that this is particularly easy, but we're going to do our best here. Oh man, this is a pretty poor showing so far, I have to be honest. Still, the damage from these guys really isn't that bad. I wonder if this is one of the bosses that actually got nerfed. Because compared to the original release version, quite a number of bosses had their damage nerfed. Alright, should really heal. Okay, we're gonna have to move out of harm's way here. Getting too low. Oh, somebody dropped something over there. Guess we'll check that out in a moment. Okay, no skeleton wheels yet. Just these warriors. But yeah, if you kind of drag the fight out and make good use of the large chamber, it's not too hard. And it actually gets progressively easier, you know, as you move through the boss fight. Because we have less to deal with now, only 1 skeleton lord left. You can even backstab these guys. Okay, so now we got the skeleton wheels. Fortunately, they are not anywhere near as scary as the Dark Souls 1 skeleton wheels. Alright, only 1 left. Sweet. I was a little worried there early on in the fight, but we made it through, and a nice 20k souls. That is a decent haul. There's a little bit more that we could be doing in Huntsman's Copse. There's a shortcut to unlock, then the Undead Lockaway Bonfire, and Creighton's quest line to begin, but my focus really is going to be on just maintaining good pace and progressing here, so let's move on into Earthen Peak. And we get to meet one of the key NPCs in just a moment here. And I guess before progressing more, we really do need to go back to Majula, so we'll have to do that as well. Harvest Valley. Really a cool looking place. And this is...
Are you a traveller?
Chloanne.
I'm Chloanne, an ore stone trader. I travel about collecting rare stones. I never planned to visit this god's forsaken place. But I don't know. I just sort of ended up here. I must have just wandered in. But now that I'm here, I've been scouting around for rare bits. Oh, don't look at me like... Many of these stones are quite useful. Oh, now your ears prick. I've extras if...
Alright, so she does sell some good stuff. Bonfire aesthetic, very useful, but not immediately useful to us. And then some shards. I'm not sure if you can just talk to her and she'll leave.
I came... The
Let's find out.
how? I've searched.
Okay, so it
I
seems that you don't even need to buy anything from her. She'll just be pretty much ready to go after you exhaust her dialogues. So before moving through Harvest Valley, we have to go back and spend our souls. Alright, so Chloanne is back in town.
Speak up.
And not selling anything too exciting just yet. She gradually sells more and more stones for you. It'd be nice if she had some large shards, but she just has these normal ones.
No interest.
Okay, let's make...
The names, and you are... a man ought to labour with his feet, not roam around like you flirtatious vagabonds. Oh, but your equipment.
Okay, let's finally make use of this blacksmith. And we can just bring up this mace a few levels. We do have one large shard, so that's going to bring it up to +4 for a total of like 250 damage, which is really solid. Okay, and then of course some level ups here. Lots of souls left for that. I guess we'll just put 3 points into strength so that we can one-hand our weapon if we really wanted to. And then I guess we'll bring up vigor and endurance to 13. Sounds good. Alright, cool. Let's do Harvest Valley. Alright. So you don't want to be rolling in this poison stuff. In fact, even by walking through it, you actually get like poison all over your like lower body. And so that'll continue to build up your poison meter even after you've left it. And yeah, that mechanic's kind of new. So yeah, Harvest Valley, this place has got quite a few useful pieces. Some stuff we'll just grab right away. They kind of try to trick you here with the poison pools. We can see loot all over. Most of it is just like a fading soul, so like fake loot. But you know, there are a couple good chunks there as well. Wow, that massive damage. Oh, this guy's gonna interrupt us. And with a solid R2, we can one-shot him. Very nice. Okay, raw stone, that's not actually what I wanted. The Fragrant branch is definitely something you want to pick up here. So that's the first one. And it is actually the fastest one you can get in the game. So if you want to go to the Shaded Woods ASAP, you can pick up that Fragrant branch that we just did. Now here you can pretty much just run to the ladder and climb up, and those enemies down there, I'm not sure what they're called. Large beasts with dark magic, and they've got, you know, like ghouls riding them, controlling them with the reins. And although they do massive damage, as we saw a moment ago, they're slow. It's pretty hard for them to hit you. Let's definitely grab this bonfire here. And so this next room has got quite a few places you can go. I mean, you can drop down into, you know, what's below. There's some treasure down there, but also lots of poisonous death. And then a few different ways you can go. I believe that this loot here actually is a second Fragrant branch. If it's not that one, then it's you know, another loot close by. I haven't you know, fully explored this area and, like, you know where everything is. But I'm pretty sure we're just good to move right along. We get introduced to a new hammer wielding enemy there. Let's just run past him. I can show you guys one nice area. So I didn't find this shrine until, I don't know, my like third playthrough maybe. I'm not sure exactly. But yeah, this is where you join the Sun Bros. You can bring 20 sunlight medals to this altar, whether you farmed it through co-oping or through farming the Falconer guys in Things Betwixt. You'll need to use an ascetic to do that. But yeah, you can farm sunlight medals either way, bring them there, and I believe, yeah, 20 you can level up the Covenant to get the Sun Sword, which is one of the most popular longswords in the game. It's got a little bit of extra range, but it's also got really good stat scaling. I believe it's A for strength and A for dex. So that's a really good weapon. And although it might take a couple hours to farm all the sunlight medals you need for it, it's definitely worth it. So we're just running right through here. There's a fair amount of loot we've passed by. I mean, if there's anything notable, I'll include it in the description just to mention it. But we're just going to move right on to this boss. Covetous Demon. Kind of a funny boss to encounter for the first time. Not really like anything we've seen in Souls before. This boss is known to be sort of the pinwheel of Dark Souls 2, if you will, in that he's super easy. Although, you know, if you get hit by that roll, and he's going to do more rolling here, I think, or that kind of acting like a fish out of water. But he does deal really good damage, but you have to be, you know, making some significant mistakes to even really get hit by him. Another fun fact is you can actually use an arrow or throwing knives, hit the chains that you see dangling these poisonous pots from the ceiling. And if you do that, it'll drop like a zombie. And that zombie will actually distract the boss. Covetous Demon here will actually walk right up to them and eat them. And yeah, provides a good distraction. I'm not sure what exactly happens after that, but it's kind of a cool mechanic that they added into this boss fight. Alright, easy. Another 15k for the soul bank. And we get our first encounter with Lusatil.
I don't know. Oh, normally people keep a safe distance when they... I'm called Lucatil. From the land of Mirrah to the far east. They say Drangler, and so I came to... What a stray.
Okay, so yeah, this is the first time we've encountered her. You can also find her at the Lost Bastille and No Man's Wharf. She'll give you humanity. Yeah, Lucatil is, I think, one of the more popular characters, you know, in terms of lore. I guess she's got kind of a cool story behind her, but I'm not really a big lore guy, so I don't know all the details there. Alright, so yeah, we're in Earthen Peak now. And I think that this zone is supposed to be like the Sen's Fortress of this game. Which is kind of a pathetic comparison because Sen's Fortress is just such a cool level. you know, possibly my favorite in the whole game, or the whole like series even. You know, Sen's Fortress, really a cool place. But to have this sort of be a follow-up, and to have this be like Sen's Fortress 2.0 is, as I mentioned before, it's unworthy, you know. It's not nearly as cool. But yeah, I'm going to take you guys through here, and we'll see if we can take on Mirrah. Or not Mirrah, Mytha. But yeah, a lot of these engagements coming up, like, there's just so many monsters versus me. And, you know, whenever you're outnumbered, the fight becomes exponentially more difficult. So we tend to avoid that. Now you can actually drop down here. Maybe some of you guys haven't sort of done this before, but you can, you know, light this bonfire while keeping the fog wall intact. For some reason it let me rest, even though there's a guy standing right there. And actually, yeah, this is one of the most controversial parts of the game as well. Like, I expressed some unhappiness with how Lycia, the NPC, works in terms of progressing the game, and how unintuitive it was for me, and what I think is, you know, a fair number of other players. Oh, I'm gonna die. But what we have here is something like even less intuitive. Very few people figured this out on their own. Usually people would get stuck on the boss in this area and sort of look up how to deal with her. Or really more so how to deal with the boss chamber itself, because there's poison everywhere. And it's in quite a few sections of this level, but like most significantly the boss room, where there's just poison all over the floor, until you do this. So you set your torch there, and it burns up this windmill, and for, you know, whatever reason, it stops spreading the poison all over the place. And it makes the boss much easier. I didn't figure that out at all when I did my first playthrough. I just fought the boss in her poison pool and just basically banged life gems every 10 seconds or so to offset the poison damage, and killed her after a few tries. But what I showed you just there was really the intended way to take on the boss. So there's some more exploring you can do around here. This is where you would meet Pate for the second time. Sorry, not like where I'm standing now, but a short walk away. But I'm not doing the Pate and Creighton storyline. Okay, we've got these desert sorceresses, somewhat infamous for their big boobs. I mean, they can drop an item that actually like enlarges the breasts of a female character. I don't know, kind of obnoxious, but some people like that for their fashion souls. As you can see, that they got a few pyromancies, and they deal some big damage. But they've also got a spell called Immolation. I'm not feeling very good about this, guys. I think we're gonna die. Alright, we're dropping down here. Oh, the fall damage. Too bad. Let's just pick up from our last bonfire. Alright, so this time I don't mind doing a quick run back with you guys. Usually I prefer to avoid retracking through the same steps, because we just came through this area. But I mean, in this case it's not really much time at all. In fact, we're like already here. So So we're just going to try and light that bonfire that I opened up a moment ago. At least this time it'll be easy because the wall's already out of the way. Definitely don't want to lose that blood stain either. So now it doesn't even matter if we die. So I'm just going to spawn right back here. Alright, and then there's also a rather famous NPC you can summon here. So this guy poisoned himself, helping lead him to his demise. I feel like we should probably go back and just spend these pile of souls that we have. That would probably be the smart move, but I don't think that's as fun as just trying to take on the boss right now. So we're back in human form, and the NPC I mentioned a moment ago, we can see his sign right down there. Are you serious? Wow. Fall damage taking me by surprise again. Sorry about that, guys. Alright, hopefully this will be the last time, but I guess we never know. Let's try this again. Maybe instead of doing the full fall this time, we can first drop onto this piece. Summon Jester Thomas. And he's going to help us with the boss. Got a clear path to Mytha's chamber. Let's take it. Hopefully Jester Thomas is close behind us. Looks like he's going to be in here in a second. And we got another boss, Mytha, Baneful Queen. And wow, we are just going to dump on this boss, especially with the help of our NPC friend. I mean, I can just play a distraction role and he can blast away with his pyromancies. I guess this is a little bit cheap with the NPC, but I mean, there's going to be other harder bosses. This boss isn't particularly hard as it is. As long as you get used to her, you know, few different spear attacks, so you can dodge them, then it's really not that bad. Oh man, that flame swath dealing probably the most damage. But yeah, easy boss, especially with our good friend here, Jester Thomas. So he makes a comeback in the Sunken Crown DLC that I think a lot of players were pleasantly surprised with. He invades as a red phantom, and he is like the first NPC invader that actually gestures, and he can taunt you a little bit. I don't know, there's something else about encounters with Jester Thomas that just really makes him memorable. Because as I said before, you know, he's a very popular NPC in the game amongst the community. So it's good that he could help us out and just cream that boss. But maybe we'll take on Smelter Demon in the next episode. That'll be, I guess, a bit more of an impressive boss fight to share with you guys. That's a hard boss. So this is a famous part of the game too, the Iron Keep Bridge. This is where everyone comes to duel. People will throw their signs down here, red signs or dragon signs, and just go at it on the bridge. Some people are really mean and they use this area for ganking, and you can actually just leave the door closed as it is right now, and thus any invaders have nowhere to run, and it makes it for a really nasty ganking spot. Just down here you can actually, I've already hopped down, so we'll have to, oh, you know what, I probably shouldn't have done this. In fact, I should have really lit the bonfire first, but hopefully we're not going to die here. I just wanted to point out that you can run across the hot rocks there, and there's a bonfire ascetic just off in the distance, But that has to be like the hardest bonfire aesthetic in the game to get. Maybe it's because I'm still using circle for jump. But those are some very tricky jumps to make. And you got to get like yourself covered in water first, otherwise the fire damage is too much. That's honestly like the hardest item in the game just to like physically get to and pick up. I guess unless you've done good practice on it. Alright, I'm really glad that we made those jumps just because it would have been kind of annoying to run all the way back here. But we have this bonfire here. And in the next episode, we've got to pick up the dull ember inside of the keep. And then we got to decide, you know, if we want to kill off the smelter demon. And then there's our first great soul to embrace from the whatever the boss is of this area, a giant demon in lava. But I guess just as we're ending off this video, we should spend our souls. So let's go do that. Alright. So we'll be able to climb up quite a few levels here. So we've already basically got a solid weapon that we're going to be using at least for a little while. So really the only stats we could consider upgrading is of course more vigor, more endurance. Vitality is good too, but we're wearing very light equipment, so it's not as important at this stage. But I mean 4 is like super low. Maybe bring that up to 8. Adaptability is very important as well. If we just dumped all these points into adaptability, it would bring our agility from 86. It's at 92 right now, and we could, oh, you know what, we can actually get it to 95. And 95 is actually a key number, I believe, because at certain points of agility, and so that's this one right here. At certain breakpoints of agility, you have more iframes, invincibility frames during your roll, which just means that it's easier to roll and avoid taking any damage. So a lot of players shoot for 105 in the end game. If you're like maxing out a character and leveling to like 600 or, you know, a crazy high number of levels, then some players actually go for 115 agility, which gives you one more iframe. But the standard is 105. I think 95 though, what we're at, you know, by dumping all 12 points here, is a good number as well. I mean, I don't remember all the breakpoints off the top of my head, but I'm very tempted just to dump everything in agility. But I don't know. I don't think it's justified. So I think that it would be better just to bring up agility a little bit for now, and then later we can put more points there. I just think it'll help us a lot more getting like endurance, for example. You can see that our endurance brings up stamina 2 points at a time until you get to 20. After 20, it's only 1 point at a time. So it's a good place to stop for the moment. So yeah, let's go up to level 40, and we'll just do this. I'm still leaving vigor a little lower than I like. I just really don't like dying in these videos. But I guess we'll just have to live with a slightly shorter life bar for the time being. Yeah, guys, that's basically going to wrap up this video. I just wanted to sell these souls. I guess we have even more souls. We really can just use all these boss souls that we got in this video. So let's just do that. I'm not expecting that we would want to use these boss souls to make any like weapons later in the game. So another 28k. We're gonna be you know, much more powerful for the next episode, which will be nice. Still not entirely sure where best to put them. Let's do it like this. Got 18 vigor, 20 endurance, and we're slowly bringing our ADP up as well. Alright, so I know before I mentioned that we'll probably be doing Iron Keep in the next video, but I'm actually not sure, because one of the key items in Iron Keep is the Dull Ember, but you can't make use of the Dull Ember until you've met with Blacksmith McDuff, and he's over in Lost Bastille. So the way you get there is through No Man's Wharf, or by going back to Forest of the Fallen Giants, and we would need to kill the last giant and the pursuer. So we do have a few different options, so I'm not entirely sure what we'll be covering in episode 3, but I hope you guys enjoyed episode 2. I want to thank you for watching. Until next time, take care, guys. Talk to you soon. Peace out.